know, I fucked up the whole fucking thing. I didn't look far enough ahead. I got on it too late.
Alright, welcome to our little hill climb. We recently had a little bit of rain. Normally this is kind of silty, but it's a little bit dried out now, but it's not horrible. So I'm going to go up it, and then we're going to show Sam going up it. I didn't do horribly awesome there, but I just wanted to get above my main line, which right now I'm about like 3 feet above it. And coming into this next thing, it's pretty steep. Now coming into that hill climb, it was really off camber, so it looks kind of not too hard, but it is pretty tricky. Now I tried to carry my front wheel through this, and I didn't quite go fast enough on that little part right there. And I should have just gone just a little faster, so I could have got up about another foot, maybe even another 6 inches, because right here then I had to get off the bike and kind of lift my rear end over, and you know, that cost me a little bit of time. I really believe it's better just to get off sometimes and just reposition at my level anyways, just because if I was to get on the gas, I would just, my rear end I feel like would have just slid down. Now here's Sam's attempt.
This part before, but it's scaring me.
No, dude, just it's easy. Just
you like just like me, you needed to be another 2 feet higher. It was kind of just choppy coming into that gully there.
It was kind of choppy, and I psyched myself out a little bit on the uphill portion of it. I didn't look far enough ahead, and I let myself get unsettled, or let the bike get unsettled a little too much, and didn't react.
It almost looked like
No.
you didn't
You
hold
gotta go
yourself
back a little
forward
bit.
on the bike
Remember
fully
behind the
as you
bushes.
started to accelerate.
That
and
makes sense.
then that causes the front wheel to kind of come light,
yep,
Yep,
and then
that makes sense.
right
yeah,
about there. It's
that makes
fine. Now
sense.
second gear. Roll into it and then
mentioned how you should get back behind that bush. I feel like it's crucial to get as much legitimate rolling traction, preemptive like rolling traction,
momentum, right?
Yeah.
Get your bike rolling.
so you can really get set up, because this is super off camber.
You can see I kind of, I got thrown off the bottom.
Yeah, and it was like you were a little bit timid to load the bike up.
Definitely.
You didn't come in fast enough.
I got thrown. There's some rubble rocks in the bottom that threw me off.
I
didn't look far enough ahead. I got on it too late.
Try it again. Turn around. Just flip her on down. Dude, who cares? Like, it's no big deal.
I'm allowed to get a little frustrated.
Dude, you gotta be more smart at the bottom now. Like, you should have rolled in way harder.
This is kind of tricky. Just turning around, Nick. What do you
Yeah.
like? You were saying something.
I was
didn't
telling
quite
you to
do it.
turn your wheel, and you kind of did what is right actually by turning your wheel, like, and you ended up like that's actually pretty good, but you had those little bushes to contend with, and your
Nice.
rear end ran into that bush when you started to roll backwards. But what you could do is like turn your wheels back and your front wheel back and forth, and that'll slide your front end over too, as opposed to just hard turn to one side and push it down, because you have those bushes. But it's on such a steep incline, your bike actually wants to go down the hill anyway, so just rocking your
You gotta
wheel back and forth,
before
I
that
think
first yucca,
would have
you should
scooted
be
it
like,
over and made it slide down just a
like
little
soon as you're
quicker.
down in that little gully
But it's
thing,
those
just
little
load it
details
up.
like that save you time on the trail and effort too.
You got it.
Just something as simple as that is just turning the handlebars back and forth.
Failing or turning around in an efficient way.
Yeah,
almost even.
yeah.
This stuff seems like in the moment it feels like a lot of like consequence, maybe not physically, but energy-wise. Like if you got off your line or fell off the side of this little side hill, it could be a lot of suffering
Yeah.
to get turned back onto the right course.
That's why you sit there and you pause for a second. You're like, okay, I want to make sure I do this right.
Yeah.
And then right here, you didn't know exactly where to pivot, but this is something me and you both need like some work on, because I find myself kind of scared out on the trail too. When you have you're on a steep side hill, but you want to do a full pivot. Like right there, we just didn't fully commit, but it's like the consequences, like you said, are so, you're going to go down into a gully full of yuccas. But that's something we need to work on, is those high, where you have to get your front end super high. I feel like that's a spot right there where we could manage to
Yeah.
do the right proper pivot around and throw yourself to the other side type of thing.
In the moment, it's really intimidating because it feels like that hill that your front end's going into is really steep, and it is, but you don't realize how much room you actually do have sometimes. Like,
Now you're starting off in second gear, I believe, and coming into that, it is really off camber as soon as you get down into that little gully. So that's why we're really hesitant to like get on it super hard right there. But you did a better job right here of holding the RPMs. You slipped the clutch a little bit more and you kept the motor, the RPMs turning. And again, you're lucky you're so tall, because that pivot, like, you know, it's so hard to do those pivots, like when you're coming to the end of a hill climb and you know you need to pivot, but you're still trying to go upwards.
yep. And sometimes something happens where you can't convince yourself to throw your whole body up to the top side of the bike. It
Yep.
could be crucial. You could low side and go tumbling, but yeah, I get lucky with that.
Now what happened there too?
So I didn't carry my wheel up higher than my rear wheel. My front wheel wasn't higher than my rear wheel. And maybe proactive for the situation, because it's just a tire width of like crusty sand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that was pretty cool. That second time was like way better.
Nice.